So one last important step, if a website you've followed along and created is something you're planning to actually launch, or just if you'd like to know the process for doing that in future, we're going to look at and run through together in this lesson. So at the moment I have a attractive looking website, but it exists using this Squarespace subdomain, and it's also locked to the public. So unless I provide access, no one else is able to view this. So the first stage before you make your website live is picking a plan with Squarespace. So you can do that by visiting settings in the sidebar and then billing. Now at the moment, as you can see here, it says there's no active subscription linked to this account. And at the moment I'm using a trial subscription, which is Squarespace just giving you time to create and design the website. So to put a plan in place, I need to click this link here and then click the upgrade button, and it tells me here how many days I have left in the free trial. So I'm going to click upgrade, and then it's simply a case of selecting a plan. And when it comes to deciding which plan is best for you, my advice would be to look down the list of features, and just the features that are unticked, check if there are any of these that you need, and obviously make sure the plan you select includes those features. So you'll notice many of these features fall under this commerce heading. So if you're building an e-commerce website, if you're using those features, well, you've definitely got to go for at least the business plan, and then perhaps even one of the commerce plans, just so that you're benefiting from things like 0 transaction fees and other features. There are then a few marketing features, but generally I found that the personal plan for your average website that just wants a web presence, wants to serve information to its visitors, this plan is more than enough. So when you've made your selection, just click select on the relevant plan, and then you'll have the opportunity to enter your billing information, which I'm not going to do with you at the moment. So I'm going to close this, but we'll assume you now have a Squarespace plan in place, and then you're ready for the next step, which is to pick a domain name. Now, if you wanted, you could use the subdomain that Squarespace offer you. That's included in your plan, but the fact it's .squarespace.com, to me it's a bit unnecessary, a little bit of free advertising for Squarespace there. For a professional website, I don't think there's any need to broadcast the fact you've used Squarespace to create it. Keep it short and sweet. So we visit settings again from my sidebar, and this time we're looking at the domains heading. If you click domains, you have two different options. One is to get a domain, and if you click that option, Squarespace will actually act as your domain registrar. So you can make a search. It's already recommending based on the subdomain that I have in place, and you're able to get any of the usual range of domains from here. So .com, your local domain names like .co.uk, which is what we use here, and even a few of the niche domains, so .beer, .pub. So you can get the full range here, but it means your domain name is tied in to Squarespace. So thinking ahead, if you wanted to move away from Squarespace in future, as your brand grew, it would be a little more hassle to transfer the domain away from Squarespace, but not impossible. So this is by far the easiest option. If you purchase your domain here, then Squarespace takes care of that for you. I'll go back and we'll have a look at the other option. So use a domain I own. This means basically you've purchased a domain using a different website. So maybe an independent domain registrar. So GoDaddy, 123reg, those are popular ones. I'm not going to recommend one in particular, but any domain registrar you choose to use, once you've set something up with them and you have your preferred domain name, you would enter that in here. And just as an example, I'm going to put in the web address of my own website. I hit enter, and Squarespace will actually look up the current details for that website. Once it finds those details, it will give you the option to transfer that again into Squarespace's control. I think that defeats the purpose of using this method. Likely you'll use connect domain. So if I select that option, it will ask you, just for ease of use, if you can identify the provider. Sometimes that means while you're logged into both services, you can just click a button and it will do the transfer for you. I know that that's the case with GoDaddy. I'll leave it as other, connect domain. So these are the DNS settings that Squarespace needs my domain name to have in order to get control and to be able to make use of that domain name. So at the moment, you can see the current records I have in red. Some of those are privileged, so that's not going to appear here. But this is the IP address I'm using, for example. So I won't run through the process for changing these DNS details on, with every registrar, but generally there'll be a page that invites you to manage your DNS settings, and all you need to do is copy and paste the values from these columns, so the host value, into that host column with your registrar. Ensure that the type, there's usually a drop down and a few options. So ensure if it's a CNAME entry, then the type is CNAME. And for required data, sometimes this will be referred to as the destination or target on your registrar's website. So that's where you would enter this information. So once you run through and you update these records, if a record doesn't exist, so for example, there are quite a few A type records to add here, you may have to add a new record and then just enter these details. So once you've entered all of those records on your registrar's website, you click refresh on this page, and if you've done that correctly, you have to allow a few minutes for that to propagate, to update, but you'll begin to see the matching values appear in the current data field, and they'll be green if that's correct. So once you get all of those records to appear as green, then that's it. Your domain will be in place and that stage is complete. So that's a little technical, and you can see why Squarespace have included the option to let them manage this on your behalf. So if this feels a little more than you're comfortable to work through, then just get Squarespace to manage that for you. So the final step, and this I promise is much easier than working with DNS settings, is to make your site visible to the public. So once you have a plan in place, once your domain name is in place, you can go under settings to site availability, and provided you have a plan in place, this option public will not be grayed out, and you simply click the checkbox for public and click publish, and that's it. Your site will officially be live, and the link to send people to, that will be the domain name that you've put in place, and that's what you would enter in the URL bar. That's what you would send for people to visit your new website. However, to enter the backend and get access to the sidebar and the Squarespace editing tools, you would still need to visit this Squarespace subdomain. So it's worth keeping a record of the two.